Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. I wouldn't have imagined that I could be talking to you about artificial intelligence, AI, over recent years, because it's not my speciality. I'm not the tech person in our team, but I recognise some problems and challenges that businesses face, and I wanted to do something about it. And I grew up on the island, and I'm passionate about the island, and I hope that what we've developed will also be of help here too. So where did it come from? Why AI? Why have I set up a tech company? I was an entrepreneur early on, started my first business at 21. Couldn't make it work with working capital, resources, all those sort of challenges you face with a startup. Went into the corporate world, and really I went then from beer to boats to business. So I was in the brewing industry for nearly 10 years, fantastic. I then came over to the Isle of Wight and helped set up a composite manufacturing company in Cowes, and it was crazy. How do any SMEs do everything themselves? I went round every boatyard on the island and said, shall we set up a virtual shipyard? They thought I was crazy, but we did set up the Cowes Marine Cluster, and actually from that collaboration we did £1.5 million extra work within the first 18 months and set up a supply chain of around 100 companies that collaborated to do more together, reduce costs and get more done. And one of my passions then was, can we build the Red Jet on the island? Why is it being built in Tasmania? And they said, oh, it's always going to be built there, it's not, you couldn't possibly do it here. I mean, it's now being built here, that's so fantastic. So that's great on Red Funnel, I'm glad to see that that's happened. And then I set up an organisation called Business Southampton. I was there for 11 years, it became Business South, set up a network of what we call champions. It was all about championing your place. And through that network we had over 100,000 employees with a collective turnover of 4 billion, which means we had collective influence. We were able to drive change for, say, Southampton, which talked about a master plan for many years, never came forward. But because we had our champion programme and that influence, we were able to persuade the council to commission a master plan which brought 3 billion of investment and over 20,000 jobs to Southampton. So I believe in collaboration, cooperation, doing things together, and that led me to my vision. And they say, don't they, that a picture paints 1,000 words. I couldn't give you a picture because it's in there and it's full of things like bridges and jigsaw puzzles and join the dots and all sorts of crazy stuff. But I'll just give you a brief sort of inkling on what I was wanting to do from the experience I had here in Cowes and in Southampton and the work I did before. I was thinking, okay, so in the Solent we have a fantastic blue tech cluster of marine companies, and I know that they want to do more business, they want to connect with more market, and they want to grow their businesses. And often they can't find things they need. So one of the parts of the vision was, okay, so how do we connect business to do more business, not only regionally and nationally, but internationally as well? So how can we connect the Solent with San Diego, for example, to drive more growth in the marine sector? And you could apply that to any sector. Also, the other part of the vision, which you're going to think is crazy, but when I first met, I should introduce my CTO, Dr. Yunjia Lee, mega brain, and I was introduced to him when I was working in Southampton with the university there. And when I first met Yunjia, and I asked him if he could turn Google on its head, and well, what does that mean? I said, well, okay, I've worked with all these companies for years and years, and they can't find stuff. If you're using a search engine, you have to know what you're looking for to be able to find it. But there's so much stuff out there you don't know about. It might be funding, it might be contracts, it might be people, it might be equipment, it might be facilities, it might be research, all sorts of interesting things that you don't know what it's called or where it is or anything. So how can we create a new software, a platform that can find stuff for business? So really that's where the vision came from. Now, of course, we couldn't do that all at once. That's a big challenge. Scale globally, connect businesses and turn Google on its head. So we thought, okay, where should we start? Okay, so in my experience working with or engaging with thousands of small and medium businesses over many, many years, and also hundreds of large and corporate businesses, I think at any stage of business journey, they often encounter challenges and problems in finding funding at some time. That might be venture funding, it might be loans, it might be grants, whatever kind of funding businesses often need to raise some working capital. So anyway, I'm not going to read all that out. You're familiar with these problems, but what shocked me most was that there's nearly 4 billion of public funding that comes out from government each year, and nearly 2 billion of it goes back unspent because it can't connect with who it's aimed for in the marketplace, which could be many of you in here, for example. How do you know about it? How do they find you? How do you connect to? And it's designed, isn't it, to stimulate growth and innovation and drive economic outcomes. And yet there's a gap. So that's where we started. And now I'm going to be extremely brave and do a live demo of what we created as a result. I decided to set up Launch. Basically, why launch? Everything is launched, isn't it? Everything is launched, so I thought it was a good trademark, which we have got registered. But also there's problems in launching things. That journey of innovation, how do you get more products, more services, more businesses launched out in the market? And then, how do you tell everyone about them and promote your launches, and how do you sell them? So that's why Launch was born. I've had a virtual team working for the last 3 or more years, brought some people together more recently, but over that time we've developed something quite interesting, which we're going to show you now, hopefully. I should also say that when I started this, it was a bit of a leap of faith. I was still working. I wanted to see if we could develop a digital platform, a digital marketplace to start those business-to-business connections that I told you about. We brought our team together, and IBMers amongst you will know that you have lots of great partners. One of those was called Know Now Information in Portsmouth, and they helped incubate our company in the early stages. And I also found a most brilliant master's student from Portsmouth University who works with Yunjia here to write the code, which was assigned back to Launch, so we have the IP, but then we worked with IBM. They said to me, it's a bit like having a super chassis of a unique car that no one else has got, and we're using an engine to power it, which in this case we're working with Watson engine from IBM. And I can tell you that along this journey there's been times when I thought, I'm not sure this is working. Anyone that's developed software will know what I mean, but I just want to tell you about this. So you could be an individual company and use our platform to find funding, contracts, information, facilities, equipment, research, specialists and consultants. And or you might be an intermediary, like an LEP or a growth hub or a trade association or an accountant or a professional service or a university or any organisation that actually reaches lots and lots of businesses and clients and networks, because this is a platform that's for everyone, and it's an enabler and an opportunity for all. And so we're just going to show you so the first company. This is a company that so Vox Securitas is a fairly new company. It specialises in GDPR and compliance, and we showed them our platform, and on the first click they saw 2 contracts that they were able to bid for, which they didn't know about, and so they were very excited to use this. So what happens is, just so you know, is it's not complicated. We just put the company name in, find the information from Companies House, put the website address in, and the AI and the machine learning, natural language learning, brings multiple sources of data together to provide results and information based on your business profile. So that's why it's pushing data to you and pushing information to you in a proactive way, things that you didn't know about that could be useful for your business. And the more it's used and the more it knows about your company, your business, the more intelligent it becomes, the more accurate it becomes. Reading about the table challenges earlier and the fact that the Isle of Wight wants to increase its productivity, increase its growth, increase its innovation, I think there's a platform here that could certainly help enable some of that working in partnership and collaboration. So it's a GDPR company. We can see the word GDPR, there's data. So the company, Vox, finds this useful. If they were so minded to, and they were looking for equipment or resources or particular expertise or consultants, that's all there as well. Because one of the things I found when I was in the Cowes Marine Cluster is that all these companies said, oh, we need some tech tool, or even if it's a CNC machine or something, to help develop our next product or do our eco-propulsion system or whatever it is. But they didn't have access to the equipment, the facilities, the research, and they didn't know where to find it. And anyway, they couldn't have afforded it. So if they couldn't buy it, but they didn't know where to find it. So I found that these were barriers to growth, barriers to product development, barriers to launching new stuff. So that's why, after lots of listening, we've brought together this model, this platform, so that businesses can find information. Do you want to show another example, Yinju?
Construction company?
Yeah, video. So at the moment we've loaded about 300 companies. I would say the more data, so we can use open data, linked data, big data, your data, and obviously the more the data we use, the more intelligent the outputs are. So this is a construction consultant, and again you can see, I mean, this just saves hours of searching, doesn't it? I mean, when I've looked for things before, for contracts and funding and this type of thing, you have to search and search and search, and you might not, and then you think, oh, here's one, and then you realise it was 6 months out of date or 3 months out of date, or actually it was for somewhere north of the country, not for here, or for a different sector. So I think actually by using intelligent information about your business and your profile to bring information you didn't know about is very exciting. So yeah, applied technology. So we're just giving you some examples here. In terms of intermediaries using this, I think it's really good for them, isn't it, to improve the knowledge and awareness they have about your company. This is a proactive way of them knowing more information about what could be useful to you before they've walked through your door. It will help them with their own business development plans as well, and also improve customer awareness and customer knowledge and information. So this was applied satellite technology. I think you get the gist. There are some useful things that are coming up on the screen.
Export.
Yeah. And then, because we want to connect business to do more business internationally, and let's face it, that's going to be ever more crucial, and SMEs are going to increasingly be the lifeblood of the UK and need the support to drive growth and find opportunities internationally. I don't know if you've ever used any of the .gov websites and things, but it's pretty time-consuming to find something that's useful to you. We've just added this recently, so that's Bardon UK specialises in batteries and solar systems, and the first 2 contracts are around batteries and solar. So just to I mean, this is a database that has thousands of contracts all over the world, and it's not easy to necessarily search. So in one platform, in one place, you can find information that's suitable for your business to help you innovate and grow. And just something else we'd like to show you quickly, which we've recently developed some more AI of our own that we've developed. Because companies said, well, we'd like to know more about competitor information, or companies that we can work with, or actually companies we can buy from or sell to. So we have started that development already, and Yunji's beaten me to it. So he's clicked on a company, Drumgrange. So straight away we can find the company, find out about the company, and immediately see companies that may be suitable for them to collaborate with, or there might be competitors or collaborators on the left, and on the right there might be companies they can buy or sell to, buy from or sell to. So this is the start of this particular element of our platform. But I think you can see that as we grow, we'll add more useful elements, talent, space, freedom to operate, IP, all sorts of things we can add to make a really brilliant, smart, intelligent research tool for business. Thank you. Okay, and just to say, there is a marketplace out there. There's companies that have been doing that provide some of this information in a much more sort of traditional way. You might ask for a report and it might come back after a few days. It's not all built on the same tech, and the tech that we're using is around natural language learning, machine learning, AI, and we're building on that all the time. I would say this is just the start. Launch will be a brand family. We will create more AI for the platform to support business, support business growth, and I think it's fair to say that this could revolutionise the way that business grows and free up more opportunities for everyone. So thank you for listening today, and good luck in your own ventures. And if you would like to get in touch, please do, and we'll come and have a chat or look on our website. Thank you.